Hello, it's Cynthia from Cheerful Nihilism or Nihilism. Both of those pronunciations are technically correct, and technically correct is the best kind of correct. I'm trying to make more content for the YouTube channel. It's mental health awareness month. What's up? Look at my shirt. It says flexibility, love, trust, titties. So, those are the foundations of a healthy relationship, aren't they? Um, so like having a healthy relationship is something that people want. And even if you're not into like you are ace and you're not like into having a romantic relationship, you still have to have a relationship with yourself. Isn't that interesting to consider? I have to get my that's my dog. I have to get my kids from the bus stop soon, but I wanted to like stop and talk for a second because I have 20 minutes and I might as well do it. Um, so like I want to talk about the idea of having a relationship with yourself. And like I wanted to talk about a mindfulness meditation technique because I mentioned it to a friend of mine earlier this week, and they said that it was very useful for them. So I'm gonna do that. So having a relationship with yourself, like ultimately, like who is the person that you have to spend all your time with? You have to spend time with yourself, bitch. And like I think sometimes being unhappy a lot might be associated, not I'm not talking about clinical depression, but like being unhappy and unsatisfied with yourself can sometimes be associated with just not liking who you are, not liking to spend time with yourself. And of course that is because of low self-esteem and that kind of thing. Having a negative I don't want to be dismissive like that kind of thing, but low self esteem and having like a negative self image or negative associations with characteristics of that are, critical parts of your personality or how you interact with the world because of maybe messaging that you received from peers or your family of origin that who you are as a person is not okay. For autistic people, it could be because they had ABA therapy. I know that some people are really into it and it's like been a useful thing for them, but some in terms of behavioral training, sometimes adult autistics who have gone through ABA mention that it makes them feel bad about who they are as a person because they're being trained not to do things like STEM, which is a normal part of being autistic. So anyway, that's a whole other topic. But so yeah, if you get a lot of negative messages about yourself from whatever wherever those come from, you can start not liking who you are, and then that leads to being unhappy a lot because like you have to spend time with yourself. So it sucks if you don't like who you are. You can learn how to like yourself. You have to spend time with yourself. You have to consider the fact that you develop a relationship with yourself. So, I think this is generally the idea when people talk about how you need to learn how to love yourself before you can love other people, that kind of thing. Um, so, it's just something to think about, like spending time with yourself. Like, so in therapy, this is like structured and guided with your therapist. Hopefully, hopefully that's what happens. But where you can sit down and identify what your values are as what you individually, not what other people or society tells you, but what do you value? I'm sitting here petting my dog. I'm petting my dog. I'm like, I do this while I'm teaching sometimes too. That's a stim. That's a stim. Okay. And if I don't have a dog, like if I have a person, I will pet my person. So you better be ready for me to like massage your leg or something. That's what I'm doing. I'm actually scratching her back. She loves it. You probably hear it. Anyway, what was I talking about? Developing a relationship with yourself. So, yeah, identifying what your values are, not what somebody else tells you that they should be, but what you like, what you value and consider to be good ideas. And then, like think about what you like to do, like what feels good for you, that's safe, and doesn't hurt yourself or other people without consent. That's very important. But, what do you like to do? What brings you pleasure? What brings you joy? How can you make those things happen more in your life? How can you, set aside time to like learn how to like yourself more? So that leads me to very quickly talk about this mindfulness technique, right? Something that has helped me a lot in, now my cat is here too. Yikes, y'all. Everybody wants a piece of me. Oh, let me show you my cat. Because I'm so. His name is Hanso. Hattori Hanso. The master of the blade. So, anyway, identifying what you value. Oh, mindfulness meditation technique. So, I'm being attacked by all of my animals right now with love. So, the way I like to visualize this, and it's like a visualization technique, right? Is I think of my consciousness, my conscious mind, as a flowing body of water, maybe a stream or a river, and the thoughts that happen are like leaves on the surface of the river, and sometimes there's a lot, sometimes sometimes there are not that many. But I mean, sometimes there can be so many that the whole like surface of the river is just obscured, and all you can see are thoughts, 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 thoughts. But the river is endless. It flows continually. So you can kind of like see yourself sitting on the side of the river, observing the thoughts as they flow by, but not trying to control them, not judging them, not reacting to them if possible. But that takes practice. But and the thing is, like, that's how you can get caught up in the leaves, right? There can be little whirlpools where you're just like in circular thinking about something, but that always ends. It always comes to an end at some point. It's not eternal. It can't possibly be. That's just not how it works. So, and eventually it comes to an end, and you can step out of the leaves. You can step out of that whirlpool, and you know that then the important thing is to not judge yourself or think that you failed because that happened, because that's just a normal part of the process. And of course you're used to doing that, so of course you're going to habitually re-engage in that behavior. So the way that you train yourself not to is just to, like, every time you come out of it, remember that that's something that you don't want to do anymore, and like reorient yourself without anger or judgment or feeling bad about it, and just keep on doing that, because if you make a negative association with it, you're going to avoid doing it, right? You got to make positive associations with things if you want to keep doing them. That's just the basic, and that's the fundamental nature of being human or being an animal in general. Like, you have to want to do things. You have to make yourself want to do things. The way you make yourself want to do things is by, making positive associations with it. That's how it works, fundamentally. So, yeah, and then like observing your thoughts as leaves on a river or whatever, and you can modify that concept to whatever suits your fancy. Raindrops, clouds on the sky. That's a good one. Waves, ocean waves. It has to be something that's like has a that flows, and it's like endless and persistent, and has with that pattern that you can kind of step in and out of and observe. That's all. And you can, like, if you just practice this friggin' like a few minutes a day right after you wake up. That's all. That's all you have to do. And like, if you keep doing it, the hard part, like that BoJack scene, the hard part is you have to just it gets easier. You have to do it every day, though. That's the hard part. But like, you do it every day, and eventually it like starts to seep into the rest of your life. You find yourself like waiting in line for shit at the post office and feeling that like frustration and irritation rise up in you. And then you can like step out of it and watch it flow by. Like, oh, damn, there that is again. Of course, it's normal, it's natural, it's human to feel those emotions. But that's not who I am. That's not me. I don't have to get caught up in it. I can just watch it and notice it and be like, there's that crazy, shitty part of me again. No, 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 no. Don't say shitty. There's that part of me again. Don't judge it. Don't want to be a bad example, you guys. But I make those mistakes all the time too. And I've been doing this for like a couple of long times. Like I first developed an interest in Buddhism and mindfulness meditation in college when I was like 19, so 20 years ago. It's a long time. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Okay? Like develop a relationship with yourself. Like take yourself on dates. Do shit that you like to do because you like to do it. It makes you feel good. And like learn how to enjoy spending time with yourself. One of the ways that you can do that is by learning to disengage from those negative, intense emotional spirals and thought patterns. And one of the ways that you can do that is by using this visualization technique. Okay. Thank you. I hope that it's useful for somebody. Bye bye.